on it. And look at that's bubbly fam and just come out of like dozing while in meditation, y'all. So whoop. Anyway, happy Friday. It is
Yep.
that time for no particular reason time with Yanko and Kerri Lewis, and we are here to talk about everything, anything, and nothing in between. What? How you doing, Yanko? I didn't even really get to catch up with you because I'm still like in half.
Oh, that's what I'm gonna say. It's gonna happen just as we
I
go.
know.
Very raw and very natural. We're just getting up and getting going, and it's been great. Have my cup of coffee. Maybe you missed this episode without coffee.
I am missing this episode without coffee. I don't have any. I do have water. I had coffee earlier because I was up at the gym at 6 this morning training upper body, which I've not been to the gym for a week because I've been doing a lot of Kundalini movement and my body's like, bro, you need to leave your muscles alone. But today I went to the gym and it was like, why are you doing this to you? But anyway.
Ah, yeah. I can relate,
I see your
but
matching
yeah.
background to your shirt today, huh?
Of course, of course. I was looking of what's gonna go good with this red, and I was thinking I haven't, wear a red in a little bit of while, maybe.
I feel like
But so
it
yeah,
blends you into the background though. You need you need a contrasting
I know I
background.
need to pop. Right,
Yeah,
right,
well,
right.
anyway, I'm a bop. Anyway, so you got anything on your mind? Because you know me, I always do.
Well, go ahead. I'm gonna tag in and
Okay, I want to
see
read
what's
this
gonna come up.
because this was the universe reminding me today, and I'm so grateful because I needed this reminder, and it always lands. Interestingly enough, I put it in my notes, which means um I was my own miracle. I had read some place at some point, you don't owe anybody composure, which I'll get into in a minute. And that was the reminder. So on Wednesday, I was at an event with people I love dearly. And as I alluded to earlier, I've been moving a lot of Kundalini energy, which is making me super emotional. Like once that energy is released, I have to feel it. Have to feel it. Anyway, so I'm in the audience, and a performance is supposed to go on. And my loved one said something. It was not anything big, but it was just a thing that I needed to cry. Like I needed to cry. So at first I'm in the audience of all these people and I'm like, I got to keep it together. I'm like, the hell I do. I actually need to cry because this is what I need to release right now. So I sat quietly amongst the people doing what I need to do. The performance came on. It was fine. Cool beans. And then once the performance was over and I got in the car, I was like, yeah, I need to be alone. I need to like finish whatever I need to release, blase. So the next day, the individual said to me, it is not fair that I make everybody else uncomfortable by crying. And what is everybody else going to think? And they have to, you know, be around those people where I don't. And I was like, I'm not going to
Wow.
apologize for feeling my feelings. But it got me thinking. And, I was able to have this conversation with this individual later. We have a beautiful connection. I'm glad they felt safe enough to share what they understood as truth. But I said, isn't that interesting that we live in a society that's so disconnected from emotion that the fact that I'm crying makes people I
Feel uncomfortable.
love
Yeah.
uncomfortable,
Right.
furthermore feel embarrassed, and then look to me for an apology for having a human experience. And so I shared with this individual, listen, I love you, and I hear that that was an experience that did not feel comfortable for you, but I refuse to apologize for feeling my feelings. Furthermore, when you look at society as a whole that is numbing themselves out and consumed with external things so that they don't have to feel their feelings, I'm not going to not feel my feelings because it offends the senses of other people. And so that's why I love that quote, because that quote came up today. Because of course my ego's like, maybe they're right. You're in this, and I owe nobody composure ever. I get to show up fully expressed, whether I'm happy, whether I'm mad, whether I'm joyful, whether I'm sad. And it is not for me to limit myself. It's for me to stay true to who I am. And in doing so, embodying that. So hopefully other people give themselves permission to do the same.
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting how that popped up without even we talking about it, because I was looking at something similar on social media that somebody shared earlier, and it was of a guy saying that he puts his wife first and he numbs his feelings because that's what a man should. And I was like, what? And apparently people like that, and they're like, yeah, there you go. Like, guys should numb their feelings, and you know, now with like connection to anything, that was just one representation
No,
as
but
they
I
were
think it's
selling it off with. But yeah, kind of the same thing. Like, it's a human experience, just like breathing and everything else. And I don't think anybody should be um, concerned about how everything unfolds in every minute, because that's how they are. Is the tree concerned falling off and hitting somebody underneath or anything? No, the trees are being trees. So what's the difference, right?
I mean, that's a beautiful analogy, and you're 100% right. And to your point, I work alongside a lot of men. And that is a very pervasive narrative that has gotten the masculine population of humanity, seeped in addiction, heart attacks, things like that, because they don't allow themselves to feel their feelings because it's I hear it all the time. And in fact, one of my clients yesterday said something and he kept retracting. I think he's afraid he'd offend me because he said, like, be like a woman. I'm like, you're not gonna offend. There's nothing you can say that's gonna offend me. So you can go keep doing and saying what you need. But you're 100% right. Is we have been conditioned to perform, and I didn't perform the way in which people feel comfortable out in public with my loved ones. And as a result, my loved ones felt I owed them an apology for fully expressing myself. I just refuse to do it. And it's kind of like earlier this week, right? And everybody knows if it's Christmas time, me and Nana are going to do something out of pocket to try to entertain ourselves, because we always do. And an individual commented on our photos and felt that we were too sexualized, and why do we have to show up that way? And what I shared with her very lovingly is I'm a full expression of creation. And a full expression of creation is sometimes angry, sometimes sad, sometimes sexual, sometimes not sexual, sometimes whatever. And the difference between me and a lot of people is that me and Nana are willing to show the full expression of ourselves rather than compartmentalize it to fit in with what makes other people comfortable.
You don't even have to define it though. Like, it is what it is, like everything else.
A
So
100%, but for the sake of the show, it's kinda difficult for
I
us.
know, I
Like,
know.
I kinda
But
do
I'm
feel
starting to feel like more people are understanding that concept, because more people are giving themselves permission to be in the moment and not be concerned of like how are they showing in the moment, or if there should be or shouldn't be, like to be or not to be, to go. That's the question, it comes up in every situation.
well, it's interesting because
So
I'm actually staying at Nana's house this weekend, and I stayed last weekend, and usually I stay every other weekend because I have teenage daughters, but the energy that's moving through me is very expressive, and my daughters are not comfortable with it. They aren't, and, one of them ventured to say, you know, I I think there's a lot of fear there, right? And she even said, she's like, I know some people probably think you're crazy, mom. It's not that I think you're crazy, but, and so I said, well, I'm going to remove myself from the house because I'm not going to stop what feels true for me. But I also, as your mother, want to honor you. So it's like adjusting to meeting the needs of being a mom while meeting my own needs. And I'm not willing to not meet my own needs. So it just is gonna look different than how it looks for other people.
I mean, everything looks different to everyone because they have some version of the world in their, mind or whatever. And that goes with something else I was watching that somebody was explaining or reacting video to something, and the person was saying that you don't perceive the world 100% because your eyes are catching the light reflection, and then your brain puts up the picture and kind of makes it in a way what's close to whatever that mind it's um, the mind can recognize. So in a way, you can hallucinate in real life and mistake a rope for a snake on the road because that could be a close thing that you see. So you're not seeing reality 100% all the time with your eyes. If you think you are, everyone just have their own version of the reality they're living in. So whatever that is up to their mind and conditioning, that'll be it. So yeah.
Well, it's so funny you say that because talking about reality, I opened up my emails earlier. And I generally don't read a lot of my emails. If people send me stuff, the only reason I go into my emails at this point in my life is to check on shipping statuses for my kachava and stuff. No joke. But this email happened to catch my attention because I read the name Yogananda Paramahanda and I've read his work. So I was like, ooh, that's interesting. But email lost me in 2 seconds and it goes to perspective. It goes, now more than ever we need the teachings of, and I'm like, that is the illusion, people. I love every time it's like, now more than ever there's discord, there's chaos. I'm like, bitch, please, that's been since humanity started. Like the whole human experience.
But isn't that how they selling it in Hollywood? Now, two men in one car going beyond, and keep you in suspense. You're like, yeah, tell me more.
Yeah,
I
but
want to know
everybody,
how this is gonna
like,
end.
not everybody, but a majority of people, like, you're right. This is the time. Think about this. Every generation since I remember, we're like, this is the generation that is going to save the world. This is the generation that is, because let's face it, right? When kids are younger, they tend to be more optimistic. And as life slaps them around, instead of cracking open, which is what we're meant to do, most people contract. So whether it's this generation or previous generations or future generations, it's irrelevant. If people continue to contract rather than crack open, you know what I mean? Like, they are going to be the same as before. And that is ultimately why I encourage people to start to become aware of their patterns, habits, and behaviors so that they can start to crack open. Just like me. I almost fell into an old pattern of behavior at the theater when I was like, oh, I'm in public place with loved ones. I can't cry. And then I'm like, well, why can't I? And then I did, but I could have easily fallen asleep and not nurtured myself the way I was being called to do so in that moment. So it's all about awareness, which you and I talk about incessantly, because that is the prelude to higher levels of consciousness.
Uh, I mean, again, it goes back to the body being a connection with everything because everything is connected, interconnected. And if there is something that you're feeling or it's traveling through, and it's like what would I use? Maybe breathing. You don't hold into the breath. You breathe in, breathe out, and it goes on, and you don't put much into it. But when it comes to emotion, because it's you feeling it more, or you have the conception of you feeling the emotion, then you tend to do you things and control things, and that's where this whole thing comes out of.
Yeah. Well, truth be told, and again, you and I see this a little bit differently, but I don't really have any interest in being around high anxiety, frantic people anymore. Like, I just, I have no desire, because at the end of the day, I still feel their anxiety. It may not be mine, but we're connected.
Yeah, yeah,
So of
yeah,
course
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
going to be taking on their energy. And then why do I want to be in a situation around a whole bunch of people who are really anxious? And it's not that I don't love them, and certainly I don't judge them, because I completely understand what it's like to struggle with anxiety. It's just that because I am so attuned to the energy around me, I make a conscious choice to surround myself with more calming energy at this point in my experience. It's not right or wrong, good or bad. It's just my personal preference. I know a lot of people,
Mm.
right? In fact, there are great yogic teachers who have taught their students to meditate while listening to the news. And that's completely a perfectly fine way to meditate if that feels good for you. It just doesn't interest me.
I mean, there's different, we've talked about this before. I think there's different types of meditation for the type of mind you have or conditioning you have. So it doesn't mean that this type will work 100%, but and that comes down to the teacher. And my understanding of the teacher, he can kind of see the type of mind of the person is, and in something that'll work for this type of mind. Maybe to the muse when it's meditating or whatever. Um, but yeah, I was gonna say something about what you were saying, and I lost the thought. But I'm sure it'll come back to me.
If it's meant to.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, we'll see. I'm sure it'll come to me.
Well, but that's the thing is
uh,
it's so, you know, so I'll tell you something else I came across the other day. It's this multimillionaire, and she's like, I'm going to tell you all the things I don't do. I don't have a big house. I have an 800 square foot house, and I don't have flashy cars, right? She's going on and on. And this is how she's a multimillionaire. And this is what people need to do in order to achieve abundance. I said, that gets to be your perspective 100%. It does not have to be mine. And that's why, for people, this is what I encourage: enjoy the contrast. You know what I mean? Enjoy whatever it is you're experiencing. It just
yeah.
gives you the ability to gain more insight as to what feels good for you. You and I have talked about it many times. I am going to be a well, I am a world traveler. Choose to have money. I'm flashy. I love my nice cars. I like my nails. Nana will tell you I like bougie things. That gets to be my reality, because that is what I desire, and I know my worth, and I know that because I co-create with creation, I can have that. For the individual who is a multimillionaire who wants to live in an 800 square foot house, that's cool for her too. She gets to have that experience. There's no right or wrong. It's just what we have created in our mind as sets of conditions that we want to experience while having this human experience. Because at the end of the day, you know what I mean? We'll transition out of this body and have a new experience. And while I'm here, I get to do whatever the hell I want, as long as
I mean,
it aligns with the laws of natural order. So I do want to always go back to that, people, because yes, I want to do whatever the hell I want, knowing that the energy I send out comes back to me, meaning if I send out love, it's coming back to me. But if I send out harm, it's coming back to me. So, of course, I'm not going to harm somebody. And, you know, the law of cause and effect, the law of polarity. So, understanding that there are systematic principles one adheres to regardless, and knowing that I can create my reality from a place of unconditional love for myself and others, and have all the desires that I so choose to seek.
But it's a choice again, though. You're not doing it from fear that, oh, this is gonna come back and hunt me because I did this to somebody. You're not doing it from fear side. Or I had similar conversation with somebody yesterday, um, when I said it's like gravity. Those laws exist. Just because you're not, or choosing not to recognize or use them, it doesn't mean they don't
I know.
exist.
Well, go ahead.
But yeah, and that was the thing. And it was like, oh yeah, and this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. And it's up to you. But we're talking about karma in general, cause and effect.
Well,
So
that's the thing
yeah.
that cracks me up. Like at this point, I see people all the time not receive what it is they desire, but when you observe their behavior, their actions, their language, all of those things do not mirror the desire that they seek to achieve, right? Like, so for me, I had to work on my worthiness. I didn't believe I was worthy of anything. So, how can I achieve abundance if I don't believe I'm worthy? How can I achieve unconditional love if I don't think I'm worthy? So, yeah, I had to work on and become aware and release ideologies around myself to help me be in alignment to get the things that I desire. And so that takes practice. It's awareness, consciousness, releasing, surrendering. But then a lot of people don't realize they're like the person who keeps going out for a job promotion, but every time I talk to them, they say, "Well, I know I'm not going to get it." Or their loved one saying, "Don't get your hopes up because the place always lets you down anyway." So, and I'm just like, what the? Then, of course, you're not going to get it because you're basically saying you don't want it by assuming it's not going to happen for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that happens a lot with manifesting and things that do. But the reason, even if you go deeper and recognize that, uh, and that goes along something else. I was reading a book, and they had like affirmations in the end of the book, like a couple pages of affirmations, and they were selling it as like a codes or something. It doesn't matter. But the way they were listed, it's clear that, like, I'm abandoned, but like, I'll pray to be abandoned or something along the
Yeah. Yeah.
lines. Like,
So it's
like I don't have
basically,
it, so now I have to pray to get what I don't have instead of I am that what I am. you
yep.
know, and it was totally the wrong way. And I'm like, people are gonna buy this book, read it, and sit in the author
Yeah.
was recommending that they do that at least for each one of them for like at least 3 times a day, like mantras. And I'm like, I won't want to do that to myself, like pro myself that way.
Well, listen, that's why I have a adverse reaction. I'm sorry, people. I know it serves some people, and if it has helped you immensely, I'm so glad. I really am. But AA, NA, all of the old beliefs. Let's walk in every single day for 25 years of my life into a meeting and, "Hi, my name is Kerri and I'm an alcoholic." Yes, you are, bro, because you keep
You
telling
keep
yourself
declaring
you
it,
are.
yeah.
And so you are 100% an alcoholic. And
Yeah.
that's what people don't understand. And it's interesting because I work with people in addiction, and there's still this pervasive narrative that, oh, I'm always going to navigate this disease, or Another example is I'll have somebody who has a mental health episode, and I really do believe it's an opportunity, right? Crisis in the Chinese language can mean opportunity, and it is an opportunity to examine your life and look at what is not working for you so you can make
Hmm.
different choices. But I
Hmm.
still have people who are like, I'm always going to struggle with this condition. I'm like, you do not have to. I swear you do not have to. But if you keep telling yourself that you're always going to have this mental health condition, you will. Right. That's why I don't see myself as a survivor. People are like, oh, you're a rape survivor. No, I'm thriving at life. That was a blip in my life, but that has never, well, for a long time it did. In the past decade or so, that is not what defines me. That was a moment in time having nothing to do with the experience I'm having right now. And that is truly why, to your point, Yanko, the statement, I am that I am, is a
Yeah.
very profound and
Yeah.
powerful one. Because if you, for me, everybody, this is real talk. If I'm at the gym and I'm pumping weight and I'm going for a new um personal best, and just usually I say to myself all the time, so I usually do 10 reps of whatever. Okay, I'm limitless, I'm boundless, I'm expansive, I'm powerful, and I'm free. Right now, I encouraged my clients to do this, and I had them try this, because in the past what I would do at the gym is I'd be like, come on bitch, you can do this, don't be weak, blah blah blah. So I had a client do this. It said, first, talk death into yourself while you're doing a set. And then talk life into yourself and see how your muscles respond. And sure enough, the very next day, they're like, whoa. And I'm like, right? So you can speak life into yourself like that, but you have to know what it is you're saying to yourself. And if it's anything that's limiting, if you're labeling yourself, right? I won't even say I'm a singer, I'm an artist, I'm a coach. I do still fall into the pattern of saying I'm a mother because I have 2 daughters, and but even that is like confining me to a character rather than I'm a limitless being co-creating with creation. That is a much truer statement.
Well, once you know beyond doubt in your mind that's what you are, then you just use it to be able to communicate with people so that they can understand.
Yes.
Not that you're claiming it like, oh, this is me, or oh, this is mine, or whatever. Like anytime you claim something or attach it to you, then yeah, that's what happens. Um, but yeah, I am that I am. It's limitless. There's no limit to what you are.
Yeah. I really encourage the listening audience to suspend what you think you know around mental health and addiction, because you are not a slave to anything unless you sign the contract to be. And so, society will be like, oh, nope, you got to be in the AA program. You got to work through these steps. You got to come in and you got to say these words. Bullshit. And the only
uh, uh,
person who can make that choice is you. But I promise you, you will free yourself.
but isn't that the whole experience though? You sign in for different things, and this is why you give your promise, or you make it part of you, or you um, agreeing, or committing. It's the right word. You committing to something. And that brings something else in mind. I watched another video of somebody being pulled over, and they were asking for driver license, and the guy was like, "I don't participate in your system. Like I don't have driving license registration. I'm servant of God." That's what he says. I'm like, you can go do whatever you want, but like, I'm not playing your game. Like, I'm not into this. Like, oh, you're gonna be the policeman, I'm gonna be the driver. We're gonna play this. You're gonna stop me. You're gonna ask for my documentation. I'm gonna give you all that stuff, and we're gonna do the dance around.
Good for him.
Yeah.
But
No,
it's
I'm just saying that's usually how the games are played. You know, anything you agree to, you become part of or commit to, and say, "Oh, I committed." And then the other thing that's also recognizable is that once you start to things, then um, you're committed, and you go. It can't go back on your word. Even so, you're changing every second of your life. Everything changes, but once you commit it, then it's harder to go back on your word to what you did, unless you know that you're changing every second, every minute of your life.
okay. I was like, because I disagree with you. I change all the time. So what serves me today isn't going to serve me in a week from now, and I'm okay with that.
Well, this is you and me, but I'm just saying, people in general, when they commit to something, then they can go back and say, "Wow,
I
I
changed
might
my mind.
look like I'm a flaky, and this is the expectation, and you're back in the trap of whatever you committed to."
Yeah.
Even so, it might not serve you anymore. You might have a different perspective. You might go off and flip and hit your head and wake up with a different perspective and be like, "Oh, I'm not doing that." And but then you made the commitment.
Well,
So
yeah, but or you can like listen. I made a commitment to help build a company, and then the minute it didn't feel good anymore, I said I quit. I didn't even give a 2 week notice. I was like, you know what? I don't think this is for me anymore. But going back to what you were saying of claiming, that's why even with Nana, I'm intentional with my words. Like when we're texting, I always say hi love rather than hi my love. Yes, we've chosen to do life together, but he's not mine. He's not mine. And so I really am very intentional. Even with my daughters, I parent in a way that gives them autonomy to make the choices that feel good for them because it that's not my life. It's not my responsibility to decide what is going to be in their best interest. And I am a huge believer in contrast. I want my kids to figure out through experience what works for them and what doesn't. And if I'm busy telling them because I'm their mother what to do, they don't get the experiences that will help them make more informed choices that support
right,
their individual personal journey. And, I said this earlier this week to somebody, and it sounds cold, but it's true. A lot of people are soft because parents have helicopter parented them, never given them the opportunity to make their own choices. So they're predisposed and conditioned to do what mom and dad said. And then when they get out in life and life smacks them in the face and says, well, that's not real, they don't know how to navigate that because they're so conditioned to perform a certain way. And I'm just not interested in creating robots. I'm interested in creating uh empowered co-creators that can make their own life any way they
right,
want, and I don't have
right.
to understand it at all.
I mean, yeah, you don't have to be moving with the masses. You can just be you in that very moment, whatever feels right, and whatever that is for you. It might not feel right to anybody, but if that's what it is, and you don't have to explain yourself to anybody too. It's just like, okay, it is what it is, like everything else. I mean, the more you go within, and the more you look for who you are in things, you can work with the negating way and find out what you're not, because if you look what you are, you're gonna soon find out that that's not you, that's not who you are, or whatever. And there goes the journey. You start figuring things out, the more you look deeper within. And yeah, it's different.
Well, I always think about, I mean, my journey is to continue to identify, become aware of all the barriers to love. And that's my own personal journey because we exist in love. It's just our egoic construct creates the illusion that it's one, outside of ourselves. Two, we have to work to achieve it. Um, and three, it's conditional. And none of that's true at all. I mean, we are inherently created in love. It's why it's a higher vibration. It's why it's a higher energy. It's why people feel better. I mean, think about it. The most unconscious person, when they display an act of kindness towards another, whether it's opening a door or whatever, they naturally feel better. Naturally, they could be having the worst day, and if they're inclined to do something, they've literally shifted their energy because that's our natural state of being.
Now I remember what I was going to say earlier when we're talking about the anxiety. You know, when you're around somebody and you feel their anxiety, they're also feeling your calmness.
Yep.
So it's both. It goes both ways. So if you duck and run, you miss a good opportunity to show them what calmness you can. That separation to show them what calmness feel like.
Yeah, and you know what? It kind of like this morning, I walked into the gym, and I'm generally the most socialist of butterflies. Like, I see you, I smile at you with my eyes, and today I did not feel like it. This lady I see all the time, she walked in, and I was half asleep, and it was, 5:30 in the morning. I'm just like, so to your point around calmness and anxiety, there are times when I have no problem being still in a room full of anxiety. And then there are other times where I have no interest. It does not serve me at all, and I don't want to. And either one is fine as long as I'm doing what feels good for me in that moment. And that's generally what I do, because if I'm in joy, I know I'm good. I'm copacetic. I'm chilling.
And that goes back again to not having an expectation to perform and say hi to anybody. I mean, they might have an expectation, but I know exactly what you're talking about. Because some days I'm just like, meh. They come in, they smile, I smile back. I don't say anything because it doesn't feel like I should say anything at that moment. It's just like, it is what it is.
100. But that's
So,
also, I really want to highlight this in terms of a relationship. And this is what, and I come back to this because I'm constantly in awe. Like, I am in such deep gratitude for my relationship with Nana, because we have, like, in any given moment, yesterday I'm giving Nana a back massage, right? And he's like, "Hey, babe," and I forget what he said, but whatever he said, I thought he was going to ask me to, like, focus on an area of his body, right? And he's like, "I have a new cosplay idea the next year," and I just started laughing because I was like, "I didn't see that coming at all, babe."
you weren't
No, not at
expecting
all.
that.
But
Oh,
like,
yeah.
even throughout our weeks, right? We don't live together. So if I am depleted on a Monday or a Tuesday, he may get a, "Hey babe, I love you, but I'm spent. I'll connect with you tomorrow." Or I may get a, "Babe, I had a shitty day at work. I'm going to the gym and shutting off my phone." Or we could talk for hours about nothing and everything. And every moment is a new moment. There isn't an
Right.
expectation that says, "Well,
And
that's my boyfriend and he loves me, so he needs to make time for me every single day because I'm his person." And I used to do
yeah,
that, right? I
yeah.
am guilty. I'm like, "That's my
Uh,
husband. He needs to be here." And I'm like, I basically condemned whoever I was in relationship with, because whatever was going on here of what I anticipated, how the hell did they know? And then also, if they were doing it, they most likely weren't meeting their needs. So basically, we just kind of became a cesspool of mess together.
Usually they try to predict, and if they can, that's really stressful for whoever it's around you because now you're becoming very
Yes.
unpredictable. And that's really the concept of a crazy man, or a
Yeah.
crazy woman.
Well, it goes back.
If you're unpredictable, because you can act any way, you can smile on somebody or, laugh or do something they're not expecting, and it stresses people out. really, because you're just being spontaneous in the moment.
I watched a woman do a live yesterday, um, who got locked up in the mental institute. She was locked up twice in the past couple months. Now she can quote scripture from the Bible like I can wipe my ass. Like, it's impressive. I don't know what transpired, but the thing is people chalked her up as crazy. And if you think about it, and I was talking to a psychologist who works in the ER for Harrington Hospital, who deals with people who are, admitted for crisis. And she's right. If Jesus walked on earth today, they would commit him to a loony bin. They would have. And actually, I was just reading in my book of Hafiz, and it's the funniest thing. So he writes in a poem that he's walking by a temple as people praise Allah, and they're like, "Oh God, please come to me," blah blah blah, and Hafiz, in his metaphor goes, "So I yelled out, 'I am here,' and
I
then the
am here.
sticks and then the sticks and stones come out, and it didn't end well." And it's true,
Of course.
because the masses, honest to God, they are so entrenched in dogma and not actual connection with source energy. They're entrenched in like this idea of what it's supposed to be, but they don't have the experience. And that's why I laugh all the time. I'm like, honestly, I am more inclined to vibe with the crazy person, because at least they're doing them. You know what I mean? I mean, hey, I don't know where that's coming from, but are you happy? Are you harming no one? Okay, do you?
It's so funny. I love it. I'm here, people.
I know. And then comes the
oh,
sticks and
oh
stones.
God, no, I'm here. No, don't look up there.
Yeah, but think about it though. Jesus would have been totally institutionalized, as well as, I mean, it's in Eastern Hemisphere, it is much more accepted to go down a spiritual path and to be able to speak openly about Kundalini energy moving through your body and having these experiences. In the West, oh no, this as soon as you do it, you're crazy. Although I will say, in the Baptist church, people, let me tell you, when they're singing, and they will tell you you are consumed by the Holy Spirit, man, sometimes they are. In fact, they did a good depiction of the Holy Spirit in Elvis when he's a little kid, because he was just so overcome by music, and that was his connection to creation, and he felt it, and in that space he is. And that's why I encourage people, I don't care if you believe me. I'm not here to sell you on anything. I'm here to ask you to ask yourself, do you sit in joy? Do you sit in compassion? Do you sit in unconditional love? Do you sit in freedom from judgment? If you can say that, then you're having experiences of connection, whether or not you can identify it or not. If you sit in suffering, if you sit in judgment, anxiety, depression, numbing out, then ask yourself, are the beliefs that I currently hold supporting a life filled with joy or suffering? And if you don't like the suffering, seek outside yourself, or rather in yourself, so that you can find out what not Yanko and I are talking about.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure everyone, if they have an interest, they find what they're looking for.
Well, 100%. It was
And
like I said.
weren't you saying? Were you saying that like a couple episodes back? Like, be careful what you wish for, because you might just get it.
Well, think about it, right? I was just telling you when we first started the show, the very message that I needed to be reminded of found me. And the only reason it did, honestly, is because I got a brand new phone, which, by the way, I manifested, people, my iPhone 17
Congrats.
Pro, because I wanted a new camera. And I needed to go into notes to grab something and it was there, but it was the very thing. And that's the thing, guys. All you have to do is say, I'm open to a new experience, and the universe will slap you upside the face with it. That's why I tell my clients, you don't have to think your way into healing. You don't have to read all these books and
Well, you can. You can't think of yourself into healing because thinking it's no.
yes, it's but
At least to me, it's like you can't think of it. Like it's the mind can only think and play those mental gymnastics, but that's about it.
well, think about this. I had to laugh. So at the concert with my loved ones, I finally am like, okay, I surrender. I'm just gonna cry right here and stuff. And then I cry and I start laughing my ass off. And this is where people most definitely probably think I'm crazy, but that's okay. And I'm like, you're hilarious, universe. And why is that? Because I always say I embody the full expression of the human experience. And so the universe was like, oh, you're going to embody the full expression of the human experience
Yeah,
wherever
here
you
here we
die. Yes,
go.
you are. You're going to embody.
There you
And
go.
so I just
There
started
you go.
laughing. I'm like, oh, you funny. You're funny.
Not in the way you wanted it to be. We're gonna, rig the game a little bit. Give you a, curveball. See how that
Well,
goes.
that's why
But yeah,
I
that
truly think that the most spiritual people are the funniest. Like, think about Nanda Matari. Guys, she's a global meditation teacher and she does stand up comedy. Like, because you can't take anything seriously once you know. Like, once you know, nothing's like, you can't.
comedy also gives you a way to be upfront and talk about uncomfortable topics to snap people out of their mental loops or whatever it's happening, to like kind of tease them with it and see, maybe they'll go like, oh, I never thought of it that way, maybe in a funny way or whatever, and crack the ice a little bit. But yeah, comedy, it's great.
Well, I use comedy all the time when speaking with people because if we're immersed in like a dense energy, like flushing through something, sometimes you need lightness to break it up. So we'll move through the heavy and then I'll say something out of pocket and then just like I'm like, but because like for me anyway, I would never have stayed the course if it was as dense as I felt all the time. There's no way I would have quit a long time ago. So I use humor and my ability to play a lot to not take this journey seriously. And fortunately for me, I have attracted somebody in my life who plays just as much as me. So the two of us together are just ridiculous.
There you go. Yeah, no, I don't um, to me, I don't retain a lot back in memories and things like that. um so I can't really tell, which could be a good thing or bad thing, depends. I
You
don't
don't know if
remember
you
much.
play or
Well,
laugh.
no, I mean, I have memories from childhood, and in a lot of it, it's there's no details or anything. A lot of people have like a vivid things. I might have something more vivid come out if I'm in state, or if somebody is guiding me through a journey, or if I'm going back to find out something in particular. But unlike many people, I don't have like a spontaneous memories that come out and say, oh, this reminds me of when I was 6, or when I had my first friend, or whatever. I don't, there isn't much.
Yeah.
So my brother remembers a lot. And I'm just like, how do you remember so much? Oh, do you remember when you like third grade and I was first grade and we went to this like summer camp, and this is what happened? And I'm like, how do you remember this? Like, you know?
Well, it's interesting because I am remembering more and more, and I'll say stuff to my twin sister, and she's like, "Yeah, I got no clue, no clue." I'm like, "Yeah, I remember that."
Uh, Yeah,
Hang on.
we never kissed in the vintage computer fair. No.
He's in denial, Rusty. He just she, he, whoever you are, Yanko doesn't want to remember.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
I remember a lot of people I kissed in places I probably shouldn't have kissed them, but you know what? It was a time and a place.
Mm. I mean, if it felt right, I mean, I don't know.
That was more out of obligation. That was when, it's hard to not love yourself. And then I believed that I had to perform certain acts in order to be loved. And that, again, that's the thing is when I talk to people about it, it's dissolving all of the barriers to love. The barriers are just the concepts in your mind, like this belief that you have to be more than who you are in order to be loved, feel love, get express love. And so it really did take me a long time. So at the time, no, it didn't feel good, but I did it out of like this belief that that was making me lovable.
And that's not only with that, it's like with possessive love and conditions, and a lot of things go on that you condition yourself to believe that might be untrue. Good
Well,
time to
listen,
always
Rusty
expect your belief
Trombone
system.
34, you're talking to the wrong person because I can get wicked crazy cuckoo down that path. I don't know what a Rusty T is. I'm sure you might want to explain, but I don't really care to have that conversation right now. Either way, I certainly enjoy what I want to enjoy when I want to enjoy it with my best friend and partner in life, Nana Ajaman. And there's a lot of pictures on social media that show that. So if you want to check them out, you can follow my page.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
I can't. I mean, I can't talk. Listen, I just sent you an Elf on the Shelf with He-Man, Skeletor, and the Elf with different penis sizes. So I can't really judge anybody for their comments because I certainly have quite a few myself. In fact, yesterday, Nana and I opted not to do our show because I hadn't seen him, and I'm like, I'll give you a massage. And so our comment to the listening audience was skipping Brightside Chronicles tonight for back shots and back massages.
Was there any follow up disappointing comments like, "Oh no, we're gonna miss you guys," or
Uh I don't know because I was busy giving the back
yeah, okay,
massage.
I get it. It's like,
I
I was kind of busy now.
was busy.
uh, Good one.
Listen, I always crack up because for anybody out there, my brother in law, who I'm very, very close to, he and I go down the rabbit hole of what some, I personally don't, because if you really think about it, y'all, here's the deal. What do we all have in common? I mean, besides human experience, right? We eat, we sleep, we secrete fluids and stuff from our body, and we are meant to procreate, which means we are all having sex unless, you're part of that I don't have sex now phase, which is fine, do you. But it's a commonality, and I have no problem talking about sex or being outrageous because I'm just an outrageous individual. See, this is why I could spend days by myself because I crack myself up.
Oh. I mean, yeah, I don't have anything to tag to that. So
I mean, I am so glad that you are enjoying our show while taking a dump. Whatever floats your boat. In fact, a lot of people are scrolling on their phone
there you
while
go.
they're, but I never got that. Can we just go on that topic since Rusty brought it up? Like,
Sure.
why do people
I
sit in
mean,
the back?
we're getting close to an hour, but let's see if we can bring it up.
No, I'm
I
just gonna
mean,
say, a lot of people in my own household, like they sit on the throne for a mad long time. And I'm like, I just want to get my business done and keep it moving. I just never understood that concept. There's really no discussion. It just, I never got the allure of hanging out in the bathroom for an hour watching TV while I try to do my business. I don't know.
mm,
Must be a tough
I mean, I
shit.
guess, I guess. There you go.
Okay.
Maybe,
I think on that note,
maybe.
we can totally sign off.
I don't know. Maybe you know how it's a go in case it's an emergency or whatever. Maybe that was an emergency.
Listen, I mean, yeah, hey, you know what? In the interest of you and me honoring everybody where they're at, do you, whatever makes you happy. As long as you're, adhering to the laws of the universe, you're copacetic, you're good. And I'm not one to tell you how to live your life because I certainly won't let you tell me how to live mine. So
Yeah,
until
there you
next
go.
time, this has truly been an episode for no particular reason. And we will check you next